Files audio files. This is just a quick little disclaimer at the beginning of this episode. There was apparently a recording issue where the audio did not come out right for like the first half of this episode, and despite my degree, particularly in this type of work, I don't know actually how to fix it. So it just is what it is at this moment. It's not terrible, and it's not for the whole episode. It's just for about the first half of the episode. But if you stick around, the episode's pretty interesting, and like I said, the issue will go away. Anyways, on to the episode.
Welcome back to Bibliophiles Audio Files. This is your host, Lydia.
Oh, and this is Alyssa. I forgot we're doing this.
Well, I just keep thinking it'd be nice to keep introducing ourselves over and over.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can't see our faces, so I guess.
Yeah, honestly, thank goodness for that. I don't think anybody wants to see that on my side, personally.
We're not dressed to impress right now.
No. Okay, so today we are doing Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. Here is the description. In an extraordinary story that only he could tell, Matthew Perry takes readers onto the soundstage of the most successful sitcom of all time while opening up about his private struggles with addiction. Candid, self-aware, and told with his trademark humor, Perry vividly details his lifelong battle with a disease and what fueled it despite seemingly having it all. Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing is an unforgettable memoir that shares the most intimate details of the love Perry lost, his darkest days, and his greatest friends. Unflinchingly honest, moving, and hilarious, this is the book fans have been waiting for. The content warnings are addiction, drug abuse, and alcoholism.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the only ones that are graphic. There are a bunch more that are on there, like everyone put on there kind of deal. Like when you on Storygraph, when you're rating, you can add like trigger warnings down at the bottom. So there are, I gotta say, at least 50, but those are the three that the Storygraph picked.
The most
prominent. Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. Now can I get onto the reviews?
Yes, you can, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Storygraph's average rating is a 3.76. This one has no stars. That's the only reason why I picked it. I don't think it's necessarily like a 0 stars kind of review, but I think it's just, let me just read it and you'll get it. I find it hard to put a number to someone's life at times when reading memoirs and try to remember I'm rating the quality of the work and not the actual life. The book is primarily about battle against addiction and becomes a bit repetitive at times, as these battles tend to be. I hope he can find sobriety and happiness. Well, he's dead, so that sounds really bad. Anyways, my whole point was that like people don't like reading memoirs, so that's only why. Anyways, 5 stars. Wow, just wow. This memoir was so intense. It was honestly just so sad listening to him, for some reason that's in caps, him, read his story. Friends had always been one of my favorite sitcoms, and never once did I realize what he was going through, but it all makes sense now with weight changes and what he was on at the time in the show. Everything was just so powerful. The end had me crying, I guess because knowing he never got his happy ending he deserved. Goodreads, the average rating is a 3.88. 1 star. This one says, fuck me, he's insufferable. I love him, but my God, what a prick.
Aw.
Way to talk about the dead.
Was that before he died, or because this came out before he died? Yeah.
2022. So yeah.
He died in 2023, right?
Yeah. 5-star one here says, I'll miss you forever, Mattman. Amazon. Average rating is a 4.5. 1 star. I used to feel like I had sort of a soft spot for Matthew Perry in my heart, but in reading his book, I sort of changed my mind. He blames everybody for his addiction problems right down to when he was an infant. I'm only for chapter 2, so I'm hoping it will get better. Why the f are you rating anything anyway, if you're not done?
That honestly makes me really mad when people do that. Like, what's the point of saying, I'll come back later and update it? Why not just wait until you get to the end of it and then review it?
I don't get it. But anyways, the 5-star review on there that I picked, so glad I picked this book up. I couldn't put it down. I had the honor of playing a background role in season 9 of Friends. Matthew was sober and on fire. He was such a true talent, and it was a joy watching him direct the It was a joy watching him direct the physical comedy and lines of all the on set. Having read his book and looking back on when I met him now, I realize so much. How I wish he was still with us today. He mentions often in the book how he should be dead already and was scared to death, but addiction is a patient beast. Haunting words now in light of his death. Rip Maddie, your book is a legacy. Add author in quotes to your many great roles in life. And that's that.
Ooh.
Ew. Is it time for James
Yeah, I
or
guess so.
then welcome,
James.
James.
There's some spoilers coming up, sweetie. You better cover your ears.
Oh, damn. I forgot to add that this is not on Kindle.
Oh, well.
I know, it's been so long. Yeah, but the first thing that I'd like to say, this is not a note, but I just looked down and saw this is on Spotify. And if you have Spotify Premium, you can listen to it for free, which is what
Yes.
I know I did. Did you do that too?
I started to, and then apparently, because I listened to a different book on Spotify that same month, I ran out of hours that I was allowed to
Mhm.
listen to. So I did not get to finish it through there. So I ended up just physically reading the book. So
Yeah, I just listened to it all. And then I think I listened to another book too, and it didn't kick me off, I guess, because it was short. But this one is 8 hours and 49 minutes.
yeah, I think I only got through maybe 3 chapters. There's not, the book doesn't have many chapters, but
Yeah.
each chapter is like pretty long.
Yes.
And like the format of it is like chapter and then like what he calls an interlude. So
Yeah.
it's like little itty bitty things in between. Which I think
And
I had a
like,
note on that.
I think the interlude is like the past or is it the present? One's the past and one's the present.
Interlude's the present.
Yeah. Okay. I was crying by the epilogue because Matthew Perry was the one reading. And like, I think I started this book a couple weeks after he died. And like the first thing I noticed was it was his voice. And I just started bawling because I was not ready for that one.
Yeah, I almost cried listening to it, and especially like that opening line, which I wrote down here if you're interested. It says, and this was what really made me cry almost. Hi, my name is Matthew, although you may know me by another name. My friends call me Maddie, and I should be dead. If you like, you can consider what you're about to read to be a message from the beyond, my beyond.
My gosh, I
And that just
know.
that just made me really sad because I'm like, because
It
it
is a
is
message from his beyond. Yeah.
because he's gone.
Yeah. Throughout
And
this
that made me
book,
really, really sad.
anytime like I got to thinking about like him and friends, which is obviously I'm listening to his audiobook, so that would be a lot. It would make me tear
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I did write, that was my second note. Hearing his voice honestly hurts.
It really does.
So part of me is kind of glad that I ran out of hours on Spotify for that month that I started it, just because I know like listening to it was gonna affect me, you know?
Is it 15 or 18 hours from Spotify a month?
If I thought it was 10, but it might be 15.
It was more than I can't remember if it was 15 or 18. It's one of those though. But yeah, I could probably look it up, but I'm not going to because I already moved my keyboard off my desk.
I'll look it up for you. Because I have this thing called a phone.
Oh my goodness.
15.
Yeah, so with Spotify Premium, you get 15 months of unlimited audiobook
15
listening.
15 hours, my love.
15 hours. Listen, it is 11 o'clock at night, and I have been up since 5 o'clock this morning, and I'm currently sick. So I'm like, I'm not thriving.
I was gonna say mood, but right now I'm kind of thriving, so sorry.
I'm really not. Like life is just too much right now, honestly.
I smiled at work and everyone's just like, wow, well, you're so happy. And I'm like, damn, do I really look that pissed off all the time?
Yeah. Yeah, but like listen, my 6 foot pop dad was scared of you at my wedding because of how angry you looked.
Uh, some people can't believe that. They're like, you? And I'm like, yeah, I know. But like, if you look at my face, I mean, can you blame anybody for being a little bit scared?
You got that northern face going on.
That northern face. And when I get mad, that accent that comes out, Lord. Anyways, back to this.
Yeah.
I love how he adds humor into the book.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
a
just like
very
it'd be something like super depressing and then something like you just have to laugh at.
because I mean it's the sarcastic dark humor, and I really like that kind of humor.
Hmm. So his mom was 21 when she had him,
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure the dad just like skedaddled, didn't he?
Kind of. Like
Kind of
they
like they were married for.
divorced
Oh, they did get a divorce. Yeah. Well,
and
Matthew
then
was
he
like a
was just
colicky baby, and it was
and
like a
he was
lot for the
just
dad to handle.
but like he was just like deuces, I'm gonna be an actor in Hollywood. So
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah. So he was still
later
like kind of
oops,
present, but not super present. But yeah. So
which
Matthew was a colicky baby, and the doctors just threw drugs at the new parents and was like, "Yeah, this will fix it," and basically made him stoned all the time, to where all he did was sleep.
that's crazy.
So like
That's
literally like knowing that he has like had a drug addiction his entire life, and first off, that's like a really difficult thing, if you or anybody are struggling with that. There's a hotline, I believe I wrote the number down. Yeah. So at the end of the episode I'll probably, mention the number. But me personally, I have a lot of friends and family that struggle with addiction in the past or currently. And I don't think Matthew Perry ever had a chance because he was addicted from a baby, like from like baby stage.
well, there was also this other thing about addiction and specifically like with him. His family, I think he said it was either his grandfather or his great grandfather was an alcoholic or something. And that's the reason why either his grandfather or his dad was sober, because I guess they experienced that and saw that like firsthand and like what it does to people. So because his grandfather or great grandfather, whichever one it was, had an alcohol addiction. I think I've seen somewhere that addiction is something that runs in families. So
I think it can.
if you have one family member that does have a really bad addiction, it could cause you to potentially, if you do something, be addicted later in
Yeah,
life.
I don't know that like scientifically proven anything because honestly, I'm not smart.
Same.
My parents have always told me and my brother not to like drink or do drugs in like moderate amounts because they both have addiction that runs in their family. My entire dad's side of the family are all alcoholics, and my entire mom's side of the family are either addicted to pills or weed. So I've always been like careful around stuff like that. Like I don't smoke or anything like that most of the time. I drink occasionally with only like parties and stuff.
I don't typically drink, but that's just because I'm cautious with my medicine.
Hmm.
Plus, I don't have any in the house that I particularly like. So
Yeah, I
I only
just,
drink when I'm with you, boo.
it's I know I'll buy you special wine.
Mhm.
Culture really does push you towards drinking and drugs because
Oh,
it's
100%.
cool, it's sexy, like all your friends are doing it. And I really wish we lived in a world where that wasn't a thing.
The norm. Yeah.
Yes.
Because addiction's really scary. Like, you look at this whole entire book and everything he's gone through. And I know a lot of people said that a lot of the stuff was really repetitive, which I agree on. But addiction is like scary and it's such a vicious cycle.
I
It,
understood it from an anxiety standpoint because a
yeah.
lot throughout the book he talked about anxiety, and as someone who has anxiety and panic attacks, like that is exactly how it feels like some parts of this book I had to like stop listening for a little bit because it would kind
Yeah.
of like be a little bit triggering because I'm just like, okay, well, this is making his repetitiveness and talking about anxiety is making me anxious, and it's making my brain get in that anxiety loop where you just continue over and over and over just running around in a circle. So like I
Yeah.
liked that aspect of it because it was very reflective.
Yeah. And aside from that, too, it like really broke my heart to see how hard he struggled
Mhm.
through all of it, too. Because you could tell that he
He wanted
wanted
to
to
be
better
better.
himself, but he just, again, it's a vicious cycle that really has like a death grip on you.
Yeah.
But back to the whole bye bye daddy thing.
Yeah.
So with him, like his dad being in like California and his mom being in Canada, he would fly back and forth between the parents
Hmm.
every sometimes. I
Alone.
don't that's yes, the whole unaccompanied minor thing. I don't understand that parents that can let their kids fly as an unaccompanied minor, because I'd be terrified someone might kidnap my kid.
Yeah.
I know they do like special precaution kind of stuff when that happens, but like no. Like if my kid's going on a plane, I'm going with them.
Yeah, especially because didn't he have like this lanyard or something that said unaccompanied minor? So wouldn't that be like a target for predators?
Probably, potentially. I don't know if they still do that, but
I don't remember what part this is from. I think it was something to do with the stepdad and maybe the mom. It's a quote. Some would call it gaslighting. Others would think it was gaslighting. It's gaslighting. And I don't remember what that was from, but just the way he said it, I died laughing and I wrote it down. But it's been so long since I read this, I don't remember. I finished this January 10th, and it is now February 15th.
When did I finish this? I'm just out of curiosity. I finished this on January 18th.
I
So
finished
not
it
too long
first.
after you. Well, you started it first.
That's
Um,
true.
My favorite quote from the book, just like you, I don't remember what was exactly being talked about during this one, but he was talking about something and then he went on a tangent and then he when he got back to what he's talking about, the line was anyways, back to my penis.
Yeah.
And I had to giggle. That was one of the quotes that I heard when I listened to the
I
audio version of
remember
it.
that, but I don't remember the context. It
Same.
was something about
So
him being in the hospital.
I think so. Yeah.
No, it was because he felt like he was incompetent
Yeah,
for so
because
many years.
I was gonna say Edie.
Yeah. That's what it was. Okay. If speaking of doctors and hospitals, he flew back to Switzerland, which cost $175,000 for more oxy. Which, by the way, sorry, I hit the microphone. I've learned so many new drug and drink names in this book
Same.
that I would consider this as an educational book now.
My dad should be proud of me. I know he's already proud of me because the one party where I was at where there was cocaine, it made me uncomfortable being there because I say no to drugs. You know,
Because you're a
dare
cool kid. Dare.
dare program, you know. But yeah, it made me uncomfortable. I told him that and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so proud of you." So I'm sure if I told him that I read this book and I didn't know a single one of these things that Matthew Perry listed, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he'd be proud that I didn't know what it was.
I knew oxycodone only because I know I am highly allergic to it. And
Yeah,
that's it.
that's like the only one. And that's the one that people usually get like very addicted to because it's
Yeah, well
so
they gave me
strong.
that after I had my daughter, and so like I didn't take it. Like I just took Tylenol because I'm really cool like that. And I was like, why don't I take this? I'm kind of scared. Well, then later on, I'd had a flare up, like when my diverticulosis or whatever it is, and it got to the point where I was in so much pain I couldn't handle it, and so I took some, like just I think it was just one or whatever. I woke up and I had the worst allergic reaction. It was almost okay. So recently I had another allergic reaction. I'm apparently really allergic to a lot of medication, and I don't know why that is.
Fancy.
But it was like it made me so dizzy I couldn't walk straight, and I had hives everywhere, and I was trying not to throw up. It was horrible. I've never felt that way before.
Yeah, I'm really glad I've never experienced that before.
I don't want to ever again. I don't understand the pleasure
Blame
of being
you.
high.
I don't blame you. Well, my godmother, when she had her shoulder surgery, she was on Oxy,
Mhm.
and she said she had weird dreams every time she took it. So when she would go to sleep, she'd dream that her and I were part of like keeping up with the Kardashians.
What?
We were
Oh
just
my
hanging out with the
gosh.
Kardashians. So
Oh my
that we
Lord, can
started
you
watching
imagine?
we just started watching the show because of that.
Okay, anyways, back to this since we're getting really
Yeah,
sidetracked already.
tangent. One of my favorite moments from the book is where he told his mom that he really wants to paint the backyard blue so the people in the plains think we have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
That's really sweet. And I always thought when I was little, like I would look at planes and I'm like, I wonder if they see me. You know,
Yeah.
obviously being like a stupid 5-year-old, I'd wave to the planes, even though like they very much could not see me.
Listen,
I'm all
I'm
the way up there.
24 almost. I'm 23 currently. I still wave at airplanes. I don't know what it is. I see an airplane, I'm just like, I gotta wave. Like I can't not.
I mean, fair, but still, like they can't see you unless they're very close to the ground.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to wave, you can wave. That's
Yeah.
that's all up to you, boo. But I thought that was
Like,
really cute because that's stuff I used to think about all the time. Is like
mm-hmm.
the people in the planes can see me.
And the helicopters.
Did you say the helicopters?
Yeah, the helicopters, you know.
The
Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh,
helicopters?
whoosh, 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 whoosh. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that supposed to be a joke, or did you actually mean hello chopters?
No, it's supposed to be a joke.
Okay, good, because I was about to be like,
No, I mispronounced a lot of stuff, but I actually know that one.
Okay, good. Same, but good.
Did you like it when he talked about Friends, and were you kind of sad whenever he stopped talking about Friends?
Yes and no. And the only well, I love Friends. Like probably my favorite show. It's my comfort show, you know.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm glad this whole book wasn't completely about Friends, purely because this is supposed to be about his life, and his
Yeah.
life obviously didn't revolve around Friends.
Yeah.
And one thing that I honestly forget, like especially with actors who have such big acting roles, like all the cast of Friends and stuff, is you kind of forget that they do other works besides the thing that they're most popularly known for. Like David Schwimmer is the voice of the giraffe in Madagascar. I don't know if you knew
Yeah,
that.
I didn't know that. Yeah, like I recently watched bits of a documentary that he was in. I think it may have been Friends documentary, and it talked about other work. I have never seen anything that Matthew Perry did besides Friends.
Same, and same with like Lisa Kudrow and Matt
Yeah.
LeBlanc. Just a couple things by David Schwimmer, and obviously Jennifer Aniston because she's a queen.
Hmm.
Courtney Cox, I've seen her in Ace Ventura. That's a really good movie.
She's in Ace Ventura?
Yes, did you not know that?
No. I love Ace Ventura. Who is she in Ace Ventura?
The girl he bangs.
No, really? Hang on a minute. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah.
No, that's not
Court
really.
and Courtney Cox was also in I think Scream. I've never seen Scream, but I'm pretty sure some horror movie. But she was definitely in Ace Ventura.
Oh my gosh, yes, she was. Wow, I
Right.
had no idea. Well,
Crazy.
that's one thing I've watched besides Madagascar that had the Friends cast. Madagascar
Wait,
used to be my jam.
have you seen We're the Millers?
I'm gonna have to look. I just see things to know because I can't picture stuff. Hang on. Were the
It's
Millers?
I think it's We're the Millers.
Yes, I have seen that. Yeah, I've seen a
Okay,
lot of
so
stuff with Jennifer Aniston, just not anybody
yeah.
else.
Yeah, because you kind of just forget that they do other stuff,
Yeah.
you know? And that makes me sad thinking about that. I'm like, these people do all this other stuff that they're probably proud of, and people just know them as like this one big role.
Yeah. Unless you're Matthew Perry. Didn't he hate like half of the stuff that he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still want to check it out though, just
Yeah, I
because.
really want to. Yeah.
Speaking of Friends, I like how a lot of Chandler's personality and catchphrases come from him himself. Like,
Yes.
I forget which catchphrase it is. I think it's just a like, could I be any more blah blah
Could
blah.
you be any more annoying? Yeah.
Yeah, I think that came from like a inside joke with him and his friends. And
Yeah.
I really love that.
How that became like everyone was talking about Chandler being or talking like him. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing, I don't know how this is in relation to the book because I mean, I guess there was something. It was about dating specifically. I wrote, if I'm crushing on a guy and I find out he's in a relationship, I instantly lose interest in them because I'm not that way.
Hmm.
And then if I'm dating someone, no one else looks appealing to me
Hmm.
because I'm also not that kind of person. I'm not a homewrecker. And I just honestly can't remember if yeah, you know what? I think he was pursuing a woman who was in a relationship,
Yeah, I think at
or he
one
was in
point
a
he kind of
relationship,
was.
or he was
No,
in a
he was
relationship that
dating
was,
two girls at the same time.
yes, that's what it
Yeah.
is.
Hmm.
Yes. So
Because he liked them
that's,
both and didn't know who to stop pursuing to pursue the other, so he just pursued them both.
but you know what is funny because that's a storyline from an episode of Friends.
Yeah. Boy math. It works out great. And then like they became roommates afterwards. He went over to one of their houses and was like talking to her. I think like asking to take him back, and like the other one walked in and then he was like, "Whoa." Like what happened here? And they're like, "Oh yeah, well we're friends now and we decided to live together."
No, 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 not that. Phoebe was dating a fireman and then a teacher at the same time.
No, not that. No, not the show, the real life. This is what actually happened to
Oh,
him.
well, yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
remember
I
the
forgot about that.
episode. Honestly, I really don't.
Really? So Phoebe was dating a fireman and then she goes out with a teacher and they're like, "Oh, what happened to the fireman?" She's like, "Oh, we're going out tomorrow night."
Oh my
And then she was just
gosh.
dating them for like a while and then she's doing a show at the coffee house and the one guy is sitting in there and then the other guy decides to come and surprise her
Oh
and
yeah, I remember that.
she's like, well, shit. Like, shit. And
Yeah.
then that's when they find out about each other. And then she explains, oh, I couldn't pick between the two of you and blah, blah, blah. And they ended
I
up
love you
both breaking
both.
up with
And
her,
yeah, and they're both just like dying about that.
which is basically the same thing that happened to Matthew, where he was dating the one and then dating the other. And then he went to go
I
take the one
wonder
back. And
I
then they were
wonder
together.
if he inspired the show or if the show inspired him.
It would kind of just depend on whether
Like the timing of it.
when that happened. Because that's the
Yeah.
one thing, if I have to critique anything about a memoir, it's that there wasn't really like a chronological order thing to the book. You know, like how
Yeah.
Jeanette McCurdy's book was just like it went in a timeline of like her entire life.
Yeah.
This like jumped around quite a bit and went from like one thing and then into the
Mm-hmm.
future and then back to the past and then like it just jumped all over the place. So I kind of wish it was a little more chronological just so I can understand like
Follow along better.
how everything progressed and
Yeah.
like how like which pretty much just how it progressed pretty much and where his addiction led to and yada 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 yada.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, one other thing about Friends that I really liked is I love how the cast of Friends on like the first day that they met all just spent a day just getting to know one another just to find their
Oh
chemistry
my
with one
gosh, I
another.
love that. Yeah, wasn't it Courtney Cox? And she's like, let's just go eat outside. And like they were all sitting there talking and eating.
I think it was either her, no, it might have been David Schwimmer actually.
I know David Schwimmer was
Or
one who was like, you deserve to be paid more because this is what I'm being paid,
yeah.
so demand it and you'll get it. And they did.
Yeah, that. Or it might have been like the director, the producers, like guidance to
Like put
like
them all in a
go get
room
to know
and they
each
were
other.
like,
Yeah,
be friends, you know?
pretty much. And they ended up being friends,
And yeah, really well for a long
which
time.
is really, really sweet. Like every
Hmm.
once in a while, like I don't know if you follow, well, you deleted your Instagram
I'm not on
app.
Instagram, yeah.
So I was gonna say, if you follow any of them, if you follow Courtney Cox, occasionally you'll see like Lisa Kudrow pop up on her Instagram or Jennifer Aniston and vice versa and all that stuff.
I
So
know you don't like The Office, but Pam and Angela, like their characters in real life, whoever they are, they did that. Like they were always best friends after the show. And like every once in a while, one of them will go to an event and like the other one will be their plus one. And it's like really, really sweet.
that is sweet.
You need to watch The Office.
I refuse to, and I know it's a very stupid reason as to why, but I refuse to.
Hmm. Okay, so one of these things of the book that I understood that so far I haven't seen or heard of anybody else actually understanding it was when he, I don't know if it was a dream. I'm gonna say a dream though, just for giggles. He had a dream about a snake taking him away, shortly before he had the enlightening moment with God. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I don't.
You don't? Okay, so I don't know. I don't remember if he's in the hospital or if he's high or whatever it was. I think he was in rehab maybe, but he had a dream about a snake taking him away. And like that was actually one thing about this entire book that I really understood that I feel like was completely blown over and that nobody else understands. Because in the dream, the snake was taking him somewhere, was trying to hurt him. And my mom, my mom's mom, she is very spiritual. She's Cherokee Indian, and dreams always mean something in my family. And like we have like family and friends who are dream readers, and you can go to them and like explain your dreams to them, and they can understand aspects of it and tell you what it means spiritually. And so snakes are representing the devil because in Genesis, in the beginning of the book of the book of the Bible, obviously the snake convinced Eve to do the one thing that God told them not to do. And so, like, ever since then, snakes have always been referred to as the devil. And when he mentioned that, I actually understood it perfectly because he felt afterwards that he was saved, maybe not realizing that that's what the Bible actually refers to it as, like saving and being saved. But I didn't realize that Matthew Perry was spiritual. Like, even if it was just a little bit, like, I don't know if he went to church or anything, but he does talk about God surprisingly a lot in this book, memoir. It's not really a book. In this memoir, he talks about God a lot.
I don't remember that part in the book, but when you said dreams and snakes, I remember you mentioning that once before, so I
Hmm.
remember or knew where you were going with all that, and that makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense.
Man, like
So,
I love dream reading. Like I think it's honestly one of the coolest thing that you can like learn to do. It's just I think I like
yeah,
a little bit of psychology stuff sometimes. Not
I
enough to major in it though.
yeah, you see, I took a psychology class in college and I failed that, like almost. I got a
I've heard it's
D.
really hard.
I had to take it, so that was unfortunate, and I ended up
Yeah,
with a D. And by the way, if you ever go to college, D's do not get degrees, so it ain't gonna
that's
count.
a
Your
lie.
degree.
What about C's? Do C's get degrees?
Yes,
Ooh, so
I
C, as
think
long as I get a C,
it
I'm
it
golden.
it depends on your major though.
Hmm.
as certain classes you have to take. Like for example, my one friend, she was majored in occupational therapy. She couldn't get below like an 85, which is like a B
Ooh.
in one of her classes.
So it had to be AB the whole class, whole semester?
Yes, which makes
Oh,
sense. Occupational therapy is like,
it does make sense, but whoa, that's gonna be rough.
yeah, so she's stressed. But you know, it's all
Yeah.
good now. She got her master's degree and she's thriving with her job and her love life and all that stuff. So I don't know if she
Ooh.
listens to the podcast, but if she does, hey, I love you.
Hello, hello.
She probably doesn't. But anyways,
Honestly, I don't know who would. It's kind of trash.
a little bit. Actually, I know one person who does, and that's just because I like my voice. So hey, boo.
Oh, I think my husband was going to listen, but I think he gave up very quickly.
He probably is like, yeah, I deal enough with this.
Honestly, yeah, he's like, I hear you talk from the moment I get home to the moment I go to sleep. So, like, I'm not gonna add anything extra that I don't have to add. No, he's pretty sweet sometimes. I like the fact that he had Aaron, which was like his assistant through everything. And
Yes.
it didn't say like when he died, it said that his assistant found him. And part of me is like really hoping that that was Aaron, because that way she would have
Yeah.
been there with him through everything. Because like that'd be really upsetting to find like one of your lifelong best friends in a hot
Yeah.
tub dead, obviously. But like I'm
Yeah.
really glad that she was there with him through everything, so that way he wasn't alone, because anxiety and trauma caused him to mess up so many relationships. And it just made me really sad. Like every time something bad happened, I was just like, oh no, please don't, you know?
Yeah, because like that's actually another note that I had, and not about specifically Aaron, but like, do you ever like read a book, whether
Yeah.
it's like fiction or nonfiction,
Oh,
and someone's struggling in the book, and you
mhm.
kind of just, I know you're not a touchy-feely person, but like, do you ever just want to give them a hug?
I was gonna say I'm a feely person. I'm just not a touchy person.
Yeah, but
But
like
sometimes, yeah, like give you guys like, give you like a little what is it?
shoulder
Man,
pat.
what's it called? Yeah, like a pat on the back. Just be like, you got this, buddy.
No, like me, I'd like want to hug them. Just be like, come here,
Yeah.
shove your face in my chest, like,
Oh.
let me stroke your hair.
Oh.
No, but seriously, like reading about people who like struggle, like especially like the way Matthew Perry is like struggling and stuff like that,
Mhm.
like even in like fiction books when like the characters are like literally not real, I get that feeling where I just want to like hug them and just be like, it's gonna be okay.
You got this. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot
pretty
of times
much.
in this book where I was just like, man, I feel really bad for him. But like
Yeah.
he did come around in the end. Like he did get his stuff together.
Yes.
I don't have any more notes.
I've got one and a half
Okay.
because the half one kind of relates to the rating. So my pretty much my last note is the one bad side about having you reading the audio version of the book
Mhm.
and me reading the physical copy is that you don't know this, but the physical copy has pictures in the middle of it from like his
Oh,
life.
that's it.
Yes, it's really sweet. It's like
Oh,
it almost gives like Polaroid photos snippets, and each one has a caption of like who and when and all that stuff, and it's really,
oh
really, really
my
sweet.
goodness. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see
But
that. That sounds really cool.
I'll send you pictures later, but because it's all the way on the other side of the room and I don't feel like getting up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sorry. But the one that really made me sad, like literally almost made me cry when I was looking at them, was the very last two photos because they were his first and last 8x10s, which are pretty much like his first and last headshots that he's ever had. And
Oh,
that just made me really sad because I'm like, he's never gonna have another headshot. Like, I guess he
yeah.
figured that he probably wasn't, and that's why he put it in the book. But
Oh my
you
goodness, this is
know,
so sad. This
yeah,
like this book was really emotional. Like for one, Matthew Perry was an icon. Like absolutely.
yes,
But like books like this, like memoirs, especially this one and also the McCurdy.
yeah,
I forgot her first name. I'm like as
Jeanette.
soon as like Jeanette. Okay, I can't want to say Samantha. I'm like, I know that's wrong. That's who she
No,
was on
that's her
iCarly.
character.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little
exactly.
different.
So, anyways, yeah, her book, like just memoirs like this make me really sad because like by the end of it, you're just kind of like, what now? And
Yeah.
like I don't like finishing books. Like I love beginning books, I love reading books, but the end of books usually makes me really upset because I'm like, I'm not ready to let go yet.
Okay, it depends on the book though.
Usually if it's a book that I love, I'm not ready to let go. If it's a book that I hate, I'm like,
Yeah,
thank goodness we're
different.
here. But yeah,
Well,
completely different feelings. This one,
very
I was
different.
sad to finish.
I was okay with finishing it. And the only reason why is because it took me on a really big emotional roller coaster, I guess.
Hmm.
Like even I said, like reading it, I'm just like, it's slow going just purely because I have to put it down because it's just making me way too sad.
Yeah.
And I
I
just
think for
could not
me, it
deal.
was more like he's talking and he's gone, and there's not going to be any more Matthew Perry talking anymore.
That's fair. And
Like,
you know, one thing I kept thinking about too is the Friends reunion thing that they made back in like 2020 or 2021. I think it was
yeah,
2021.
I think so.
One of the things that they said is like this is going to be the last time that we're ever all going to be here together, and that just made me really sad because I'm
Oh my
like
gosh, I know.
thinking about that now. I'm like that is legit now.
Yeah. Dang. I know. It's so
Yeah, no,
sad. Like, it's so
it
happy, but it's
just
so sad.
it just made me so sad. But yeah, that's all the notes that I have.
Okay. Kind of have one more, but not really. It's just the national hotline for substance use treatment. If, like, you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, like, if you know someone that's struggling with addiction, don't be angry with them. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a choice. You know,
Yeah.
it's a mental warfare that's going on. And until you've been there and felt that, which personally I have not, and I'm very thankful for that, but I know people that I'm very close to that have or do currently struggle with that. The only thing that you can do is love them and be
Mhm.
there for them if they're ready to open up with you. But the National Hotline for Substance Use Treatment, you can look it up online if you ever need it. Substance Hotline is what I looked up for this. It's 1-800-662-4357. So if you or anyone you know might need this, I didn't know there was a hotline for this. Like, the only hotline I knew of was the suicide hotline, but apparently
Yeah.
there's one for everything. So that's really nice.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Do you have any buzz comments, ma'am?
Well, one thing that I said first is that I hate critiquing memoirs because it just feels
I do
kind of
too.
wrong.
Like, was it She Says with Maury that we were like, we can't say anything?
Right. That what was the other one? Touched by a
9/11.
Hero.
Yeah, Touched by Hero.
Yeah. Jeanette McCurdy's book.
Yeah.
Um
Like those, you're just like, I can't say anything bad.
so yeah, I kind of hate critiquing memoirs, but I think the comments that I kind of have, I wish it was more timeline distinct where you can kind of just this happened here and then what this is what happened next and this is what
That would
happened
be my
next.
only critiquing as well, especially if he could have like dated some of it.
Yes.
Like, only like
Cuz
it didn't have to be like, April 19th. If it was just like, 2012, 2013, like
yeah.
just let us know the year roundabouts.
Yeah, because then otherwise, like everything was kind of hard to understand when it jumped back and forth between
Yes.
places and you just didn't know when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Or even like, especially with the Friends stuff, like Friends like went on for like 10 years.
Oh yeah,
So
it
he's
was a
talking
long
about this
time.
one thing that happened in Friends, and it's like, okay, well, did it happen here or did it happen like here? Because it's
Yeah, and he's
very
talking about
different
like
times.
certain episodes and stuff, and I'm like, you could say the name of it, so that way like people maybe could go watch it, because I think he was talking about one episode or one season specifically, how he's like, you can always tell what stage of drug use I was in
Hmm.
based on how I looked at the time.
Yeah, he said like, I think it was like, if you see that I'm
If
like
I'm
really, really
drinking,
skinny,
I'm overweight.
yeah, or if
Yeah,
I'm drug use, I'm really, really skinny and stuff like
yeah,
that. And you can pretty much tell like in the last two seasons he was pretty healthy. You can
yeah,
like really see that there.
yeah,
Season like two, three, or four, somewhere around there, you can tell like he was skinny.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the first time I watched through the whole thing, I believe I was like 15, maybe 15 or 16ish. And I, even back then, I remember being like, wow, like he's really big here and then really skinny here. And so, like, listening to this and like remembering that, I was like, man, like I was a child and he was going through it, you know?
And you can
It's,
kind of notice it too. But
yeah,
you
it's
don't
so
really
weird to
understand.
me
Like
realizing
you
that
don't
people are
100%,
older in different like stages of their life.
but you don't understand. Like you could see like the difference, but you don't understand like why there's a difference.
Yes,
That I was
exactly.
trying to say. But aside from that critique, the one thing I really did like is that he did a really great job of telling his story.
Hmm.
Like he told it really, really well.
I know, because it wasn't when he was like a child, he said that he wanted to be a writer.
Maybe.
It's something about that. Then he's like, well, I definitely can't write was it plays or movies or scripts? He's like, I can't write scripts, but he did really good with his memoir.
Yeah, agreed.
My
What did you?
buzzwords are
Well, yeah. What are your buzzwords? Yeah.
hopeful, strong, and unputdownable.
What'd you rate it?
5.
I did a 4.5 out of 5. And I feel
Scandal.
bad. But again, like for me, it was just because it jumped around a lot. It was kind of hard to follow along with. And that's the only reason why I dropped it down a little bit.
Yeah. So 4.5.
4.5.
How could you? No, I'm just kidding.
I know. You should just kill me now.
I know. Please. Anyone.
Take me away.
Mercy. But no, yeah. I kind of hope that other people from Friends would also release books talking about it, but that's probably not going to happen.
Probably not.
I just think that would be really, really cool.
I think it's the same thing. Like, I don't remember if I did or didn't say. I know it's definitely something I thought about with Jeanette McCurdy's one. Was like, I definitely would love to see Miranda's side of her story.
Yes.
But at the same time, like, it wouldn't be because it would be a memoir about Miranda's life and not, Jeanette's,
All right. Well, I am ready to say arrivederci if you are. There you go. I said it right.
Pretty close. Pretty close.
Oh, thank you for joining us on this episode of Bibliophiles Audiophiles. We hope you enjoyed this really depressing episode.
A little sad.
It's not the first, and it probably won't be the last. This is why I don't like reading memoirs and biographies.
Yes, but I felt like we had to do this one justice. And the
we really
only
did,
reason
yeah.
why is because he passed away.
Yeah.
Like, we were in the middle of coming up with the ABC challenge, I think, when he passed away, and I was kind of just like, this is on my TBR, and he just died. Let's do this.
Yeah.
For F.
I actually did not know that he was coming out with a book until you told me after he'd already passed away.
Girl, where the hell have you been?
I was living under a rock, I tell you that. If it's not
Clearly.
fantasy, I don't know about it. Okay. Well, we'll see you guys in the next episode.
We got an email.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got to email you guys. By the way, don't forget, we have an email at biblioaudiopod@gmail.com.
And we got an Instagram at Biblioaudio Podcast. And there's also a website called biblioaudio.com. Nope, biblioaudiopod.com.
I was going to say, I thought there was a pod in there. But yeah, so check us out on all of those things.
Slowly making progress on getting blog posts out there.
Yeah.
And we got a new tab on there. I don't know if I've mentioned it, but it's going to be links basically to author podcast episodes that we've done. And by that, like interviews specifically. And by that, there's, well, one.
No.
About to be 2.
No. There's fixing to
no.
be 3. And then we also have another interview next week.
Yeah, that's a secret, except it's kind of on the website. So if you really want to, find out who it is, you can check out the website there to find out who we got lined up. Otherwise, suffer and just be surprised.
Yeah, otherwise suffer, and we'll probably post about it at some point or another.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us on this episode of Bibliophiles Audiophiles, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.